The dining room was unusually quiet that evening. The golden light from the chandelier flickered gently over the table, but the silence underneath it felt heavy, almost warning me. I walked in slowly, my right arm wrapped tightly in a sling. The pain from the fracture pulsed through my bones, but the ache in my heart was far worse. My daughter, Mira, turned her head toward me. She looked calm, too calm. She forced a small smile and said softly, "Mom, my husband taught her a lesson." Her words sliced through the room, sharp enough to freeze everyone, including me. I eased myself onto the chair, trying to ignore the dull throb in my arm. "Who?" I whispered. Mira didn't answer at first. Instead, she took a slow sip of water. Her eyes didn't leave mine. Across the table, my son-in-law, Arvind, stood leaning against the wall. His posture looked relaxed, but the tightening around his jaw told a different story. My granddaughter, little Sia, sat on the corner seat coloring quietly, oblivious to the tension around her. That was the moment I realized something here had cracked long before my arm did. The flashback. 2 days earlier, I had slipped at home, or at least that's what everyone believed. I had gone to Mira's house to help prepare for Sia's birthday. I was cutting vegetables in the kitchen, humming softly, when Arvind walked in. "Always interfering," he muttered under his breath. I stopped. "What did you say?" He didn't look at me. He just grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge and slammed the door. "You spoil her," he said suddenly. "Every time Mira listens to you, this house becomes a battlefield." I opened my mouth to respond, but before I could, he stepped closer. His voice was low, dangerous. "Stay out of our matters." I took a step back instinctively, but my foot slipped on the corner of the rug, the one he had kicked earlier without noticing. I lost my balance. The fall was hard. My arm cracked against the tile floor. A bolt of pain shot through my shoulder. I cried out, but Arvind didn't rush to help. He just stood there, staring. Finally, Mira came running from the other room. She screamed when she saw me on the floor. Arvind stepped forward, pretending to help, as though he hadn't been the cause. And Mira believed him. Or so I thought. Back to the dinner table. Mira looked at me now, her eyes strangely steady. "Mom," she said, "tell me honestly, did you really slip?" Arvind's head snapped toward her. "Mira," he started, but she raised her hand. My voice trembled. "I did. It was an accident." Her eyes narrowed. "Is that your truth, or the one you think you must say to keep peace?" I swallowed hard. My heartbeat quickened. Sia's faint humming was the only soft sound in the room. "Mom," Mira continued, "I found the camera footage." I breath caught. "The kitchen camera, the one the electrician installed last month. You didn't know it was working, did you?" Arvind's face paled. Mira pulled out her phone and placed it on the table. With one tap, the video began to play. The tiny speaker filled the room with the exact sounds I'd tried to erase from my memory. Arvind's voice, my footsteps, the fall, his silence afterward. My hands trembled. "Mira, I didn't want to ruin your marriage." She shook her head, tears welling but refusing to fall. "And I didn't want my husband to think he could treat my mother that way," she said in a voice that quivered between fury and heartbreak. Arvind stepped forward. "Mira, listen." "No." Her voice rose sharply. "You listen. When I confronted you yesterday, you lied. And when I played the video, you said she deserved it." My heart broke hearing that. Arvind looked at me, panic creeping into his eyes. "I didn't mean." "Stop," Mira said firmly. "You meant every word." She turned to me again. "When I told you earlier that he taught someone a lesson," her voice softened, "I wasn't talking about you." My brows furrowed. "I taught him a lesson, Mom." Arvind stepped back. "Mira, what are you—" She pointed toward the living room. "Pack your bags." His face twisted in disbelief. "You're throwing me out over this?" "No," Mira said coldly. "I'm sending you away because this wasn't the first time you tried to control me. But it will be the last." Arvind laughed bitterly. "You think you can just end it?" Mira stood up slowly. She wasn't the timid, soft-spoken wife anymore. She looked powerful, like a lioness protecting her cubs. "Yes," she said simply. "I can." Arvind's fists clenched. "I won't leave." At that moment, the front door opened. A tall man in uniform stepped in. Mira's childhood friend, Officer Raghav. "Evening," he said calmly. "We have the complaint and the video evidence." Arvind froze. I felt my breath finally fill my lungs again. Raghav took a step forward. "You can come with us voluntarily or—" Arvind raised his hands. Okay, I'll go." He grabbed a small bag and walked out, muttering angrily. The door slammed shut behind him, leaving the house strangely peaceful. After he left, Mira knelt beside me, gently adjusting my sling. "I'm so sorry, Mom," she whispered, tears finally spilling. I cupped her cheek gently with my free hand. "You knew exactly when you needed to." She nodded, resting her forehead against mine. Little Sia ran over and hugged both of us, her tiny arms wrapping around our shoulders. Mira smiled weakly. "Mom, we're safe now." For the first time in days, I believed her. The truth had finally unfolded at the table. Not the truth of how I fell, but the truth of who stood by me when it mattered. And that truth healed me far more than any sling ever could.